Am I the a-hole for moving out without saying anything? I, 23 female, currently live with my parents. I have been dating my boyfriend, 24 male, for almost a year now, and we have known each other for many years. Recently, him and I started talking about the future and when we would like to move in together. Originally, we were talking about waiting another year so I can finish college. However, after my mom caught wind of him and I having these conversations, she lost her mind. She told me that I shouldn't even be thinking about a future with my boyfriend at this point in my life, that him and I needed to back off of our relationship. Mind you, she's 23, okay? That is still pretty young, to be thinking about, the future or whatever, but it's not abnormal. She's 23 and the boyfriend is 24. Mom sounds overbearing, for real. OP continues, then mom went as far as telling me that I'm not allowed to see him more than once a week for a couple of hours and that he will no longer be allowed over at the house anymore, and it's her house, so I'll respect that. She finna find out. My mom is very controlling and manipulative, and I have spent most of my life doing whatever she wanted to make my life easier. However, I am ready to move out, and my mom would physically stop me if I tried to leave. You need to call the police. That don't sound right. She said, but her and my dad are going to some convention this weekend, and my boyfriend and I plan on moving me out while they are gone. So am I the a-hole for packing up my crap and leaving without saying anything? Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole at all. And I'm glad you're leaving. Actually, you need to leave. This household does not sound healthy, right? Something's not right here. So shout out to, hopefully the board, you're not, leaving one harmful situation, going to another harmful situation. But, at the end of the day, it sounds like it would be better for you not to be in that household than to be in that household. Somebody said, dad advice here. No, you're not the a-hole. When my parents started to tell me how I needed to live my life, I packed my stuff up and left too. And here's the flip side to this. I was fully independent from my parents and supported myself from day one. Be prepared to do the same. School funds being cut off, the possibility of having to drop out of school to work full time to now support yourself. No more health insurance either. Like I tell my own kids, you're old enough to make your own decisions and you're old enough to live with the consequences. Be prepared. OP responded, I am already working full time. I pay for my own car and have my own health insurance. I don't have to pay anything for my college due to the GI Bill, and I have my own health insurance. Okay, period. She's set. So she really don't gotta be at the house for real. She's in a great position. A lot of people do not have that kind of freedom to move around. A lot of times in these situations you hear, oh, my parents are paying for my school and, I can only work full time because I have this and this and that. To that, I say, take out a loan. Take out a school loan. I am not above taking out a school loan if it's going to get me out of a harmful situation like that. If it's between me being in an abusive household and me having some debt that I'll have to pay back later, I'm taking the debt, okay? If you're going to say you don't want to pay for my school if I leave, I'm taking the debt. Believe you me, I'm getting out of there. Ain't nobody ever gonna control me with money, ever. Someone said, then there you go. Sounds like you have your stuff together and just need to deal with the fallout of moving out. Good luck. Sounds like your mom is going to freak out. OP responded, she definitely will, and I expect her to manipulate the rest of my family, but it's on them if they believe her because they know what she is like. Update 5 days later. So my boyfriend and I have officially decided to go through with getting me out of my parents' house. I have had my job saving boxes for me for the week, and I've been storing them at his house. My parents leave town tomorrow morning, and tomorrow night after work, and my sister going to bed, my boyfriend and I will start packing everything up. None of my family has any clue that my boyfriend and I signed and paid for the lease on a really nice apartment about 20 minutes away from my parents. Both mine and my boyfriend's therapists are telling both of us it's in my best interest to leave if I want to be able to grow as a person. I completely agree. My friends say that my mom is controlling and I'm 23 and need to get on with my life. Truthfully, while I agree with all of this, I feel guilty. I don't plan on cutting off all contact and everything is signed and paid for, so there's no going back now. Am I irrational for feeling guilty about all of this, or am I a jerk for leaving without saying anything? Not irrational for feeling guilty, and also not a jerk for leaving without saying anything. I mean, it's clear to me that there's been years of manipulation and control going on at the house, which probably includes making you feel guilty about things that you don't need to feel guilty about. So that's normal. At the same time, like you said, you're 23 years old, okay? Most people in the US, at least, leave the house at 18. I left the house at 18 and didn't look back, okay? You're 5 years past, that time frame. So, and you have a full-time job, you have health insurance, you have your own car that you pay for, you have your school that's already paid. Like, you're good and ready to go if you wanted to. And that's not to say like everyone has to leave the house when they're 18, but that's just kind of how it goes in the US. But obviously you had the option to stay home and you did. Now that you want to leave, you can. You shouldn't feel guilty about wanting to just be an adult and live your life. Someone said, you're doing the right thing, but what if your sister wakes up and hears you? Will she call your parents? You should do this anyway. They have no legal hold on you, but think through how you'll handle it if this happens. If this didn't come up already, are you on their phone plan? Do they pay for your school? Are there other expenses such as health insurance, blah, 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 blah. OP responded, my sister is a very heavy sleeper. I'm going to pack boxes in my room and my boyfriend is going to take them to our apartment in his truck while I stay behind. I am on their phone plan, but my boyfriend and I have decided that if they take me off, he'll add me to his plan. My boyfriend and I are on a car insurance policy together, and I have my own vehicle and my own health insurance. I have already filled out the paperwork for my bank accounts to be changed. I don't have to pay for college because my dad is a veteran, so it's all paid for by the VA. The fact that she has to get her bank accounts changed? Wait a minute. So do they have access to her bank account? This sounds like a very similar situation that I have been privy to in the past, where I know of a person who was in a situation like this and they left in the middle of the night because, their parents didn't want them to leave, or they were just being overbearing and controlling, and the parents did get mad. But it's like, what did you expect? They're old enough to be living on their own. You're controlling their bank account and, having them run purchases by you, charging them exorbitant amounts of money to rent a room in the house and doing all types of stuff, not letting them have freedom or anything. And then you wonder why they want to leave in the middle of the night and mad because they left in the middle of the night. What did you expect? Update 5 days later, my boyfriend and I have officially moved in together. My mom is extremely angry. She called me and yelled at me for 30 minutes and told me that I was alone and that I had no one to turn to. She told me that everything is always about me and that she would be calling my therapist because clearly I must have lied if my therapist was telling me to leave. Her and my dad are repossessing my truck, even though I am paying for it because it's in my dad's name. They say me having it is a liability for them. My mom called me yesterday telling me she was worried that I may be living with a sociopath. Girl, stop answering her calls. Stop answering that lady call. She's crazy. She continues, she said she spoke to my therapist and she told her that she didn't tell me to leave. My mom then called me and asked me if her and my dad could come pick me up and talk to me. No. They claimed that my boyfriend has been manipulating me into cutting off my family when he has actually done the opposite. Through this process, my boyfriend has actually been encouraging me to reach out and even said that my family was welcome to come over. Don't give them crazy people your address. She said he even said that if they wanted him to leave the house when they come see me, then he will do so because he doesn't want to keep me from my parents. My mom has reached out to other family members and spoke to them. I am not aware of what she said to them, but they sent me a message telling me they didn't wish to get involved. My mom has made not one, but 2 Facebook posts telling everyone how I have abandoned my sister, 27 female, and left her to die. She has gone as far as telling everyone my boyfriend is abusing me, which is a lie. She even said in her most recent post that she was going no contact and asked everyone else to do the same because if they didn't, they would be supporting an abuser. What? Girl, no, go no contact. Go no contact. I know that's not what you want to do. I know you feel guilty and all this stuff. Your mother needs help. You don't have the resources to help her. If you want to live a peaceful life, go no contact. Nothing you can say or do is going to change her mind. It's going to all of a sudden make her a different person. Just cut it off. And your daddy too, because he's allowing the mess. This is insane. She said, FYI, this is not me whining and crying about my choices. I am fully aware that these are the consequences of my actions and my choices, and I made my bed and have to lie in it. I'm not asking for pity. The Reddit users asked for an update, so I am providing one. The fact that she's making you feel so guilty about this is insane. She needs therapy herself. And don't tell them your address. I would never be alone with them ever again. This was back in July. Dang, there's no other update. Let me look through some comments. Okay, here's somewhat of an update in a comment that was 2 months ago. She said, my fiance and I, we just recently got engaged, have discussed things. I am supposed to be on my parents' phone plan. After I return my truck, we have decided that we are going to put me on his phone plan and they will be blocked. My location will be turned off and anyone who remains in contact with my mother and me will be given very limited information. We have agreed that if she shows up at our home when either one of us is home, we will not answer the door. We will call the police and tell them she is trying to break in. Then we will show them the messages where she is claiming she is going no contact, the post where she slanders my fiance and me, both with no proof, and then, of course, the arrest record. The arrest record for attempted burglary and theft, and we will file a restraining order. What happened? I have recorded every phone conversation with her since I left. My fiance and I have agreed that until we return the truck, any and all communication will be done only through text messages. Burglary? Hold on. She don't say nothing else in any other comment, but I'm assuming something happened. And why does she still have her location on? She seems like she's taking the right steps, so I'm happy to hear that. But this is escalating and she don't have no other. I hope everything's okay with that. Wow. So let's go to the next story. Husband is leaving me but won't give me a reason. Don't really know the point of this post. No advice needed. Just a space to say what happened before I start telling my children and family. About 3 weeks ago, my husband and I had a long talk where he said he wasn't happy in our relationship. He didn't give me a specific reason, just that he was not happy. I asked him to put more effort in and see how we both feel after a holiday he was taking with his friends. Well, during the holiday, he rang me all day, every day, sent messages constantly, told me he loved me at the end of every conversation. It was so good having him be like that again. Today, after a few things happening that I wasn't happy about, I asked him how he was feeling, and he said he hasn't been happy for months, that he wanted to separate. I asked him to do couples therapy. He said no. I asked if he was 100% sure this is what he wanted. He said yes. The conversation was a couple of hours long, but that's the gist of it. He says he loves me, but he's not happy when he comes home. I said, you realize that you're not happy with dinner on the table every night, a clean house, and a family that loves you. I see where the problem is. This man just said he's not happy when he comes home. And you rebuttal that with, you're not happy with dinner on the table every night, a clean house, and a family that loves you? No, obviously not. That's what he just said. It sounds to me that there's and this could be a reach. It sounds to me that there's a disconnect between, how can I put this? It sounds like there's a disconnect between her idea of what should make him happy and his idea of what actually makes him happy. So the wife or OP is doing all these things that they think should make the husband happy, and perhaps learn throughout the years of, and we're taught that this is what to do to make a husband happy. It's not working though. It seems like OP is focusing, purely on this. Obviously, it's not working. And it doesn't seem that they're taking the husband's concerns really into consideration for real. Because if your husband is saying, I'm not happy when I come home, and you rebuttal with, what? You're not happy with a clean house, food on the table, and a loving family? No! You're not asking the right questions. OP said, I do 100% of the housework and pay half the bills. We've been together 17 years. This hurts so badly. How can he decide that he just doesn't want to be here anymore? We have 2 children. I asked him when he started feeling like this. He said it was before September. I had no clue at all. But you know what was happening at that time? My mother was dying of cancer. So I didn't pay as much attention to the relationship. I'm glad my mother didn't live to see this. She thought the world of him and she was so sure he'd never do this. I can't believe this is happening. I can't afford the house by myself, even with child support payments. I'll probably have to move in with my 70-year-old dad once my rent contract is up. He'll not be happy about me and 2 teenagers uprooting his life, but I know I can rely on him. I am so angry. Now, okay, because I was harsh on OP. Now, I'm not saying OP is the only person wrong in this situation, but I'm just saying that response to what the husband said was just kind of crazy to me. Obviously, there's a lot going on in this relationship. 17 years is a really, really long time. And then to all of a sudden start feeling like this around the time of the mother dying of cancer, something about that says to me that the husband got the sudden realization that life is short and started evaluating the life that he actually wants versus the life that he settled for. That could be a complete reach. But as someone who has had family members pass away from cancer or have to have cancer treatment, I'm the type of person after I've seen, people close to me have to deal with cancer, I'm like, bro, life is short. Just do what you want to do. I'm not finna stay around somewhere that is not benefiting me or in a situation that I'm not happy with. I'm finna dip out because really, we don't have that much time. So that could perhaps be maybe something that came to his realization around that time. That's just a super reach. That, or he's gay, or he on drugs, or he could be cheated. I mean, there could be a lot of reasons, but the fact that he doesn't even want to work on it, I don't know. It tells me that their communication is not really there. And I really think therapy would be the best option for them, but unfortunately, the husband does not want to do that. Someone said, I can almost bet that he is cheating. And why are you paying half of the bills and doing all of the housework? Another person, 100% he is cheating. Opie responded, I work less hours, usually 2 to 3 days a week. He works between 50 to 60 hours a week. It made sense for me to do the housework and cooking. Someone else, you should consider working full time. Maybe you can afford rent with a job, alimony, and child support. Opie responded, no alimony where I am. I will be looking at getting a better job. I work less hours in the winter, more in the summer, so my pay will go up a bit anyway. I hope I can make it work with child support. Another comment, until you guys stop living together, you need to try finding a job with longer hours as soon as possible, and he will need to start doing half of the household labor and looking after the kids fairly too, so you have the time to work as many hours as he gets to and get yourself financially ready to be independent. How old are the kids? Are you going to do 50-50 custody? It will be interesting to see how he does doing 100% of the cooking and cleaning for himself if he's never done that, unless he is cheating and already has a replacement lined up to do all the household labor for him so he doesn't have to. Opie responded, kids are teenagers. They'll stay with me and visit him. We already touched on this a little. Rent prices where we live are crazy high. He'll probably rent a room in a shared house, so it's not ideal for my kids. He also works about an hour's drive away, and he'll be looking to move closer to work, so the kids won't see him during the week because of school. Okay, 4 months later. 4 months later. I'm interested to see what happened. She said, so many people commented saying that he was cheating, and he was. Dang, I was wrong. I did not think he was cheating. I don't know why, but I was wrong. She said the full story came out a couple of months after the separation. He had been sleeping with someone from work. I just found out that he is living with her. A while ago, he asked me to forgive him and he asked if he could come home. I said no. He hurt me way too much to be able to come home, so now they live together. I'm having some sort of feelings about this, but I'm actually much happier. My house is so peaceful. I love that I live with just my kids. The freedom is unreal. Without him, I can do what I want. There's no one telling me to wash clothes, cook dinner, or expect intimacy. I'm 100% sure he treats his girlfriend better than how he treated me. I even got myself a boyfriend. Okay, period. It's early days, but he treats me unbelievably well. I'm so hopeful for the future. Thanks for reading, and to those who gave me advice and told me he was cheating, you were right. I'm glad he's gone. I was not. I didn't think he was cheating. Wow. I mean, I guess I should have known. The signs were there. He didn't want to reconcile. All of a sudden, especially around the time when her mom was sick, he was probably like, dang, she's not paying attention to me. He went to go seek attention from another woman. That is just sad. I was really trying to think of, I was really trying to root for the young man. And he let me down. Cheating. Somebody said, my husband would say, there's a problem here, but he's her problem now. Talk about the trash taking itself out. You should tell her, referring to the husband's new girlfriend. Someone said doing this would depend on if the affair partner knew he was married at the start. Working together, I'm willing to bet she knew about OP, and if that's the case, well, if he cheats with you, he'll cheat on you. OP said she knows. Another person, how are your children taking this? OP responded, now that he's coming to see them and bringing them to his house, they are much better. It was them that told me about the girlfriend. I didn't give much of a reaction to the news, just asked if they met her, which they didn't. Another comment, they aren't upset with their father. OP responded, they don't know that he cheated. As far as they're aware, she's just a new girlfriend. I won't be telling them he cheated, although the truth always comes out eventually, and when they're older, I'm sure they'll figure it out, and I'll tell them the full story. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna find out eventually. Once they start discussing timelines and all types of stuff, they're gonna be like, wait, weren't you married to my mother around that time? Okay, well, the palate cleanser. This video was so freaking hilarious to me. I saw this on Instagram. I'm not gonna explain it. I'm just gonna play it and then explain it. But the title says one of the scariest situations ever, and the text on screen says POV, you're stuck on top of peak with a broken knee. So this is a video.
I'm up at like 10,000 feet. Bad storm. Bad rain, and I think I broke my knee or something's wrong with my knee. Wait, cut!
This man is in a tent in his backyard, acting like he's on like the top of a mountain peak, camping out. I think he might have like a military helmet on his head. He got some kind of bike helmet or something on his head. And he opens the tent and crawls out. Turns out it's like one of his kids with this water hose spraying water against the tent, making it seem like he's like in some type of a storm or something. Meanwhile, the wife is off to the side holding one of the kids. The other kid is over there just watching everything happen. I hate when people are funnier than me, but it makes for great entertainment. All right, well, that will do it for today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.